Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. So, in today's report covering the ongoing conflict inside of Ethiopia, specifically the Tigray region, fighting continues, while at the same time it would appear that the initial large scale operation launched by the Tigrayan Defense Forces has in fact achieved most goals that the operation had initially planned out. And I would actually go as far as to say that they exceeded the operational objectives of what they were initially looking to achieve. Again, we continue to hear reports of devastating losses that the Ethiopian army has suffered inside of the Tigray region. We also know that over the last few days, the Tigrayan Defense Forces have actually been able to enter the Amhara region and conduct a limited offensive operation against a reinforced commando brigade that had been reinforced with Amhara militias, looking to then enter the Tigray region from this point of advance in this area. But again, it would appear that that goal of the Ethiopian army to enter into Tigray with this commando unit was not successful, and they are no longer a threat per se to entering the Tigray region. But the TDF effectively severed the north-south road into Mekelle and was able to take control of the town of Wikro and Agula. And again, any sort of supply activity leading into Mekelle, heading south from Adigrat south, has been severed. There are disputed claims as to whether the Ethiopian army can in fact reinforce itself coming from Ethiopia proper into the Tigray region, heading north towards Mekelle. And that is right now disputed in terms of if, in fact, they do have that ability to make their way into Mekelle. But the supply situation for the Ethiopian army is, again, incredibly precarious. It has been so for a while, which led to the defeats around the city of Adigrat. While not an initial military defeat, it was a supply defeat, meaning that the forces in those areas were not able to supply itself, were finding themselves surrounded. Thus, they needed to head south towards Mekelle, where many of them were eventually captured and engaged by the TDF. And along the B30 highway, there are segments of the B30 highway again that are not accessible by the Ethiopian army, and those goals with the latest military operation were achieved by the TDF. Now, there has been some talk about a quick end to this conflict, and that because of the losses suffered by the Ethiopian army, that they may look to achieve a political solution. Now, the problem is there's other actors involved. We have the Eritrean army, the state of Eritrea, which is probably not going to concede any sort of defeat. You also have the Amhara region, a very populous region that has the ability to recruit and field its own militia groups. And I believe that the conflict will slowly start to turn and take on a form where you will see the expansion of the Amhara militia, and it could quite separate itself from the Ethiopian army, or in fact, uh, for all intents and purposes, become the Ethiopian army. And that would uh, basically be a very large Amhara militia group, which it is now. It is devolving into that, and but again, the concept of a very quick conflict and resolution, I would say, is maybe unlikely at this point. Again, the Amhara region has immense pools of manpower to draw from. And again, I suspect the conflict is going to take more of a regional ethnic flair, so to speak, and continue onwards. I think could we see the Ethiopian federal forces eventually pull out of the Tigray region? Possibly, but at the same time, I think a lot of those forces may be augmented by these Amhara militia units, which they are presently being augmented now. But we would anticipate to see that to a greater extent. But the real question now is what are the Eritreans going to do? What is Isaias Afwerki going to do? He has consolidated a buffer zone in northern Tigray, and I would think that the Tigrayan Defense Forces are going to have to evict those Eritrean forces from northern Tigray, and they currently have this power base extending from Shire, Axum, Adwa, all the way to Adigrat. Now, the ability to supply these forces obviously has been degraded because of the recent Operation Alula. And I think right now the Eritrean army is reassessing what it could do and what it has the capability to do. At the same time, again, the Ethiopian army has suffered a tremendous defeat at the hands of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. We know that multiple divisions have sustained many casualties, and some of these divisions or battalion elements within these divisions have simply disintegrated and surrendered in many cases to the Tigrayan Defense Forces. But we will continue to keep an eye on the situation. The military victory, and yes, it was an operational military victory in terms of a 4 to 5 day offensive by the TDF. Does that mean the TDF has won the war? No, it does not. It means that they have the TDF have taken the advantage right now. They have confidence, and the real question is, what will the TDF do next? They have the momentum, and they have the capability to continue to expand operations. And we'll keep an eye on things that happen within the coming days. I would also assume that the Ethiopian army, the Amhara militias, are probably going to have to start large-scale conscription of forces in order to attempt to turn this around in their view. And that's really the only option that exists right now for them, is either a complete withdrawal of from the Tigray region, or a turn towards what can only be defined as total war, where they start mass mobilization and use their vast pools of resources in terms of manpower to continue on with the fight. But again, we'll keep an eye on the situation. Have a great day.